Hey V, can you hear me?
There we go. Hi, can you hear me? I can't hear you. You're mute.
What about now?
Yeah, you're great. Thank you. All right. We're going to go ahead and start, Jamie, because we're not going to be on here long. I got a couple things to say, and I know you do. And then we're going to
Yes.
close this baby out in the next 15, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
okay?
Did you see the final numbers for Loudon yet?
Well, I saw the numbers for Loudon about 20 minutes ago, so I'm sure they've changed because the
Yeah.
polls close at 7 in Loudon. So if you've seen anything more recent than me, just let me know.
I'll see if I can get more recent numbers at my laptop.
Okay, so let's start out. Hey everybody, it's your girl V Richardson live from Loudoun County, forever battleground state. Everybody has to come through Loudoun County, right?
Yeah.
Right, Jamie?
Yep. All roads lead to Loudon. It is ground zero for the GOP um, extremist agenda.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to welcome everybody that's tuning in. We're watching on StreamYard, and we're also watching on Facebook, and I think we're watching on YouTube as well. I hope we are recording on all three. So before we get started, I want to welcome everyone in the Loudoun area, in the DMV area. And I just have a few things to say. I have some observations, and Jamie's going to help me. She's going to, because Jamie's much nicer than me, and she's going to say nice
Uh,
stuff, and I'm not going to say nice stuff. So there you go. I'm going to tell you guys the truth, is what I'm going to do. And sometimes you cannot handle the truth, as my boy Jack Nicholson would say. All right. So let me start out by letting everyone know that I have been an election officer for at least the last 6 election cycles,
yeah.
and I was one today in my new community of Ashburn, Virginia, better known as Ashburn Village. And I was there at 5 o'clock this morning, and I did about an 8 hour bid. It was underwhelming. It was low turnout. And a few interesting things happened while I was there. So before I begin my tirade on you all, because y'all did not show up today, Loudon, you did not show up today. Okay. There were two different precincts in one gymnasium today at Ashburn Elementary School, and y'all did not turn up.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Jamie, you want to give your much nicer than me thoughts before I begin?
Okay. I think what this comes down to is I do think there's some good news out of Loudon today. When I looked at the final numbers, Trump came in at 52% to Haley's 45. Now, I am not here to say that I want Nikki Haley to be president by any stretch of the imagination. But Loudon, for anybody who may not be from Loudon, is the richest county in the United States. Right next door is Fairfax, second richest, and very highly educated population. And what the pundits seem to think is that Loudon can serve sort of as a bellwether for what bodes for Trump in the future. Nikki Haley's been coming in even at only 40% in South Carolina, which is her home state. She got 45% to Trump's 52 in Loudon. So although I would have rather have seen her come closer to 50%, I think this means that Trump is in the weak in the election. So there is the good news. The bad news is Trump voters show up, which is what V is going to talk to everybody about. They show up. That crazy base out there who just got interviewed, and we have all sorts of interviews, when they ask them what they fought the Civil War over, they will not say slavery. They show up. The people who are okay with taking away people's rights to not just abortion, but contraceptives, IUDs, in vitro fertilization. Pardon me. I have a son who was conceived through in vitro fertilization. I am so, so grateful that his father and I had that option. Those things are on the table. Equity, equality, equal opportunities are on the table. Your rights to your own bodies are on the table. And I absolutely understand that maybe Biden does not inspire you with excitement. I get it. He's old. He's older than dirt. He makes John McCain look like a spring chicken by comparison. I get it. The difference here that we need to talk about is Trump is old too, but Biden is going to listen to his advisors. So we need to show up and vote, because those Trump supporters, the crazy goes out and votes, and we are not showing up. So and not just show up, but we also need to talk to younger voters. Majority of voters now are under, I think, under age 42 in the United States. A very different demographic. We need to get the younger folks to show up and vote. And it's hard to get young people to be enthusiastic about Biden. I get that. I will tell you all sorts of good things I've seen the Biden administrations do if you want to hear it, but that doesn't matter if we don't show up and vote. And I am on the same side as Bill Maher on this one issue, which he calls the blue liquid issue, which is I would vote for Biden's head and a jar of blue liquid over Trump, and so should you. Now I'm going to turn it back to V. Now that I tried to give you a little bit of good news before we hear the bad.
Isn't she wonderful, people? She gave you all good news before she hit you with the crap, but she hit you with numbers too. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to hit you with solid truth and what I see as a lifelong voter. Since I was 18 years old, I was standing at the polls waiting to turn 18 so I could vote. That's how committed I am. So let me just give you all some tidbits of what I experienced today. So I walked into Ashburn Elementary at 5 a.m. this morning. There was a sparse crowd. There were a lot of no-shows of people that signed up to be election officers. That was the first issue. So I was there with my counterpart that sat at the table, at the greeting table with me, and people started to trickle in about 6:37. Okay, that's great. Well, folks, first of all, this was a dual primary. Okay, Jamie, can you tell the people what a dual primary is?
In the state of Virginia, we actually get to vote. You can show up and vote whoever you want to. None of us have parties. Now, full disclosure, I am currently living in the great state of Washington, which I'm going to talk to you about in a little bit, because I think that there's a lot of folks out there thinking these deep blue states are going to stay deep blue, and we cannot count on that. But it just means you could show up and vote for that primary. So even if you were a Democrat, you could have showed up and voted for Nikki Haley as a protest vote against Trump, or the voice of reason against Trump. Now, to be very clear, again, I do not support Nikki Haley for president. There are a variety of reasons that I don't support her, from her take on everything from rights to my own body to all of that. But I think we can all agree that Nikki Haley probably is not a fundamental threat to democracy the way Trump is. You also could have shown up and shown some support for Biden. I forget the percentage of Loudon voters who voted for Marianne Williamson on the primary ticket, but are you kidding me? What about that person makes her qualified to be president of anything? I wouldn't put her in charge of the PTA. Maybe if you wanted inspirational internet memes that are posted by the most toxic people you know every day. And y'all know those folks who do it, right? Every day they're posting some inspirational meme about being your best self or kindness. Meanwhile, they're the worst people you know. That's pretty much the people I see voting for Marianne Williamson. But we should have shown up for Biden. We should have shown that support and built that enthusiasm. And if I believe that those of you who didn't show up to vote were all out there talking to people about why we need to show up in this election, not just for the presidential election, but for all those really important down ballot races, that would be all good. But I don't think we have any evidence that's what's happening. And I do also want to make sure that I say outright a huge thank you to V for showing up as an elected official. I mean, I'm elections representative. The vilification that we have seen of our election workers, the false allegations of ballot stuffings that have resulted in multiple cases of death threats, very racially charged threats, all of that. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to be there and do that. So I just want to say thank you, because people have to do it. And to V's point, a lot of folks didn't show up, not just to vote, but to actually work the polls.
Yeah. My good friend Mia out in Denver said I was giving some echo. And sorry, you guys, I don't know where my headphones are. I'm too fired up right now. So sorry, I hope I'm not sounding too bad. But thank you, Mia. You know I love you. So I'm going to make this quick. There are three things that I saw today that deeply troubled me. The first thing I witnessed with my own eyes, and I'm blind as hell. I got 15 pairs of glasses, but I saw this clearly. Okay. The first thing I saw was white female Democrats coming in and grabbing Republican ballots and voting for either Trump or protest voting for Haley. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing I saw is white female married voters coming in with their husbands and visibly looking at their husbands and checking as if to say, honey, who should I be voting for? Okay, that made me vomit. I had to leave the room. Okay. The third thing I saw was a smattering of independent voters of color and Black voters and brown voters all coming in and pulling those Republican ballots. I think I counted mostly all of them. Now, don't get me wrong, America. You can vote for whomever you want to, but you cannot vote MAGA and come up to someone that looks like me and tell me that you are supportive of someone that looks like me and you're voting MAGA. Don't even try it. There's nothing diverse, inclusive, equitable, or belonging about voting MAGA in 2024. Now, another thing that I saw was people protest voting. Can you see my air quotes? Protest voting. Okay, Marion Williamson voters, you can protest all the hell you want to. But guess what? Your vote for Marion Williamson is a vote for Trump. Period. Now, let's talk about you Nikki Haley voters. I wish I knew her Indian name because I would call her by her authentic Indian name, which she don't claim until it's convenient. All right, I have a problem with that.
Well, she told us
So
America is not a racist country.
she told us it's not a racist country, and then she turned around and said her daddy couldn't even had to teach at Howard University or some crap like that, which is nothing wrong with that. Okay. And the third thing that troubled me to a vomit inducing state is that people did not even know what they were voting in today. You guys aren't even educating yourselves. You're not even trying. All some of you knew was that you needed to go vote for Trump or protest vote or do whatever you could not to vote for Biden. You don't have to vote for Biden. He's not terribly exciting, like Jamie said. But guess what? He's not a multiple indicted criminal rapist who tried to railroad 6, 7 Black men and took out a full page ad in the New York Times to get them to encourage their arrest. Biden ain't that.
And for context,
So,
for the youngins who might be watching this, Google Central Park jogger and Trump.
all right. So for that gentleman that hit me up a couple weeks ago and was arguing with me about how his life and career was so much better when Trump was president, and he's going to vote for Trump, but he lives in one of the poorest areas in the Commonwealth of Virginia and hadn't worked in 8 months, but he was going to go vote for Trump and try to debate me about the merits? Are you kidding me? Y'all ain't gonna win those arguments. Not by me. So I just wanted to share what I saw with my own bad eyes today at the polling place. And guess what? I'm going to be back in June for the general, and I'm going to work an entire shift. I'm going to work from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. because guess what? It ain't nothing but fodder and material for my new podcast that I'm about to roll out. What else do we have to talk about, Jamie?
Well, I think there's a couple things that I want to bring up. I want everybody, if you have a chance, to go out and look up the Heritage Foundation, if you're not familiar with them, and look at what they are planned. The Heritage Foundation has had an incredible amount of influence on the GOP since the Reagan administration. So it's important we know what they are looking to do. And I know we don't have a lot of time to talk about this. I'm hoping we'll set up a talk about this, and I'll go into the details later. But look that up at what they are trying to do. And I want to say with full disclosure here, I am a Christian woman. I am very, very proud of my faith. My faith in Jesus Christ He is my rock, He is my savior, but this is not a Christian nation. And I don't want our laws to be set by white evangelical Christian nationalists. And that's the direction this is headed. So we seem to be creating these false dichotomies about who's against whom, that it's Christians against non-Christians. I'm a member of the Christian left. I'm proud to be part of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. We have an anti-racist pledge. We have trans leadership. We are trying to actually be like Jesus and be followers of Jesus, not fans. And I would ask other Christian women in particular to look in our hearts and say, are we being followers and actually doing what Jesus would do, or are we being fans? Because those are two very different things, especially the 53% of white women who voted for Trump when he was running against Clinton. And this is so relevant for women, particularly white women in particular. We need to deal with our internalized misogyny. When they were looking at the New Hampshire results, Republican men were more likely to have voted for Haley than Republican women. That is internalized misogyny, pure and simple. And we need to do better in holding other women accountable and ourselves accountable. Let's have those hard conversations. To V's point, why are we all voting with our husbands? I
I've
mean,
never, I never voted with my ex-husband.
yeah,
Never. But not only did
yeah.
I never voted with him, but I'll be damned if he was going to walk into a polling place and tell me who to vote for. What kind of 1840 BS is that? It
Well,
is 2024. And you mean to tell me that grown ass women cannot make a voting decision on their own? Is that what you all are telling me? Oh, hold on one second, Jamie. I just love my friends. My good friend Sylvia Browder, who's on the Facebook feed,
mm-hmm.
sent me Nikki Haley's real name. So that's how I'm going to address her from now on. Her name is Nimarata Nikki Rondhawa Haley.
Yeah.
So Nimarata, if you're listening, honey, get real. Because when you lose this race, I'm gonna start calling you Nimarata. Because that's
Well,
your
and
name. That's what
let's
your mama named
again,
you. That's what I'm gonna call you.
I know we keep telling everybody that every election is the most important one, but it is. And none of us can depend on the left coast to show up and save us either. Washington state, where I am now, which we all think of, you think it's going to be the deepest blue place in the country. There are already Trump signs, not even just outside of King County. There are Trump signs already going up. We cannot depend on blue states. This is going to be about the swing states. And one of the most important ones is my home state. I'm very proud to be from Pennsylvania. So proud to be from Pennsylvania. Shout out to Governor Shapiro. But Virginia is in the mix in this. And whatever you see happening in Loudoun and Fairfax is ground zero for what the GOP is going to try elsewhere, whether it was the manufactured moral panic over critical race theory, which I've still not seen taught in any K through 12 school. Even out here in wild left Seattle, we're not seeing that, or anything else going on. But if you are a woman, look at what they've done with IVF. Look at women being literally arrested for having miscarriages. The reason that women have the freedom and autonomy that we have, if we look at the data, we can trace it back to contraception because we can control when we become mothers, equal access to opportunities in the workforce, and education. And let's be honest here, abortion. 1 in 3 women has had an abortion in her lifetime in the United States. Most of them are already mothers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we take those 4 things away, we lose our equal economic opportunity very, very quickly, and then we lose all of our power. I'm a mother, V's a mother. Being a mother is the most wonderful thing that has ever happened to me in my life, hands down. No question. But I got to be a mom when I wanted to be a mom. I
Right.
had access, again, I mentioned my oldest was IVF. No one was telling me what I could and could not do. No one was saying that they couldn't have embryos. The level of heartbreak I am feeling right now for women in Alabama who were partway through those hormones, and it is horrible. I mean, just
It's devastating.
it is. It's terrible, and they're pumping you full of hormones. And I will, since we're being completely open, the lowest point in my life was when I was having miscarriage after miscarriage. It was the most sad, depressing, awful time of my entire life. But I had hope because I saw an in vitro specialist and up at Shady Grove Fertility, and they said, "We know what's wrong and we can fix that." And I had my son.
Right.
And then
And
I was
you didn't get arrested for it.
no, and no one arrested. I had 4 miscarriages and I was not arrested as a mass murderer. And also, I will let you know, my son had a vanishing twin. So are we going to come back and arrest him for murder now? Because there was a baby there and now that baby's gone. Did he kill that baby or did I kill that baby? We need to stop policing women's bodies and their reproductive choices. And that is absolutely at risk for this. And if they come for our reproductive choices, it's
They're
coming
going to
for
come
our
for
career
everything
choices.
else. Absolutely. They're coming for everything else. And
Yeah.
we are at 26 minutes,
Oh,
8
yeah, we should
seconds.
go.
I'm gonna let everybody go, but let me say this to you,
Okay.
women. I'm talking to the women because I talk to women for a living. Okay. I'm talking to the women right now. Let me tell you, ladies, something. Women decide elections.
Hmm.
55% of white women voted for Donald Trump the first time around. And oh, guess what? They're back. About the same 55 percenters, which I call them, are voting for him again. And here's the other thing, all of you folks that like, all of you women that like to go to church, yeah, I know for a fact that you all are in the basements of the church trying to influence women to vote for Donald Trump, even though he has raped half of y'all. Let's keep it real. So don't think you're going to do any dirt in a county that I live in and I won't find out about it. Oh, I'm going to be showing up to your church basements because I am the infiltrator. All right. So let's get it together, ladies. We have all the power at our disposal. We have all the influence at our disposal, and we're not using it for good. Get your DEIB lives together.
There's
All right.
more of us than there are of them. If we
There's
show
more of
up,
us
we
than there
win.
are of them, but you know the difference, Jamie? They're louder.
Yeah, they show up.
They show up and they're louder. When I went to take my son back up there to vote earlier, I asked my colleagues, I said, how did we do today? What's our number? He said, oh, 197 votes today. 197 votes in a populous county and district like Loudoun County? Are you kidding me? Okay, I want y'all to watch the numbers. Thank you for tuning in. Contact me on social media, leave me some comments. Oh, I'm going to be back, and I'm going to be back with my girl Mia out in Denver, and y'all wait till y'all get a load of her. Jamie, you got to meet Mia.
I would
Okay.
like that very much.
So,
We're gonna, if you need some numbers, I'm there.
yes,
And we got
she's
some
my
folks in King County running for office who'd love to talk to y'all too.
she's the numbers woman. That's my girl right there. We met in the trenches on the street in Loudoun County, and we've been BFFs ever since. And Jamie, thank you so much for coming on, listening to my rant. But I hope it helps some people understand I'm not taking this mess. And there are a lot of other people like me that aren't taking this mess. Get out there and figure out who your elected officials are, figure out what they stand for. And if I catch you if I catch you supporting any women haters, you're going to hear it from me. I love y'all. Good night. Love you,
Night,
Jamie.
everybody. Love
Bye
you,
bye.
V.
Bye bye. Love you.